Hello, hello. Very different scenery today. Um, Despite the beautiful scenery, I want to talk about the Crans, Montana tragedy. As you probably remember, there was this terrible fire during New Year's. Lots of people died in the fire, lots of people got burned very badly. And there's lots of things to say to burn survivors about how to manage life and so on. But there's one point I want to make. Um, Quite a few years ago, I went to visit the burn center in the Netherlands. They have a central burn unit, and we talked about different things and how they deal with burns. And they told me about a comparison they did after two very different fires. One fire in a small village in Holland and one in Belgium. In both of those, lots of people got injured, but when they visited them about 8 years after the injury, the people from the small village in Holland were prospering in general, and the people that had the same similar injuries in Belgium were not doing so well. And the question, of course, is why? It's not because these were Dutch and this was were Belgians. It was because the fire in the Netherlands took place in a small village. Everybody knew everybody before, and everybody expected everybody to come out of hospital into life. Imagine a small community, lots of people get injured. You know everybody, you visit everybody, and after the initial hospitalization period is over, you expect people to come and integrate back into life. On the other hand, the accident in Belgium was in a train station. Everybody lived in their own place. People went to hospital, went back home, and had a hard time integrating back into life. And when they told me this story, it very much resonated with my own experience. I remember, life is going on quite well, injury terrible, life in hospital very, very bad, slowly getting better. And then at some point, I went home. And when I got home, I got used to being at home. And getting out from home into life is not initially getting better, it's getting worse first. Why? Because I had to look at people staring at me, not knowing what to do. I could manage things at home. Outside wasn't clear I could manage. Like I had all kinds of devices and things I could deal with at home. Outside was all of a sudden difficult. Even things like public toilets were were painful and difficult, and so on. Restaurants. Buses, of course. So anyway, so life goes badly, then you start getting better, you get used to being at home, then getting out, initially it gets worse again. Later on it could get better because you integrate back into life, you have friends and so on, but the initial period is tough. And when society expects people to come back from hiding, it's much easier. And when society gets people to feel rejected, it's much tougher. So for me, my own personal reflection and also this comparison between the accident in the Netherlands and in Belgium basically says that injury is tough, initial period in hospital is tough, getting back to home gets people to feel that they're getting better, but it's unbelievably important not to stay at home. And even though stepping out of home and going back into society is initially going to be difficult and painful, it's a step we have to take. We have to get a bit more energy, get to real life, recognize that initially it will be tough, but the long-term payoffs are good. So that would be my one of my pieces of advice for the people who've survived this tragedy. But I think it's true for lots of things that we get used to a certain level of comfort. Deviating from it is tough, so we don't do it, even though in the long term it could be very good for us. wishing to all of us that we will find the energy to get out of our comfort zone for things that are good for us in the long term. Bye for now.